All right, today we are diving headfirst into the world of economics, but we're not just looking at charts and graphs. No, we're going to bust one of the biggest myths out there. This idea that there's some kind of perfect, self-correcting market out there that solves all our problems.
I just love this quote. It really gets to the heart of it, you know? Economics isn't some crystal ball. It's really more of a toolkit for understanding why people do what they do, especially when those choices lead to, well, some pretty unexpected results.
So first things first, to really get economics, you have to understand this one core idea. Everything happens at the margin. This isn't about big life or death choices, it's about the small stuff. It's not, should I study for my exam? It's, should I study for one more hour? It's all about those tiny, incremental decisions that, believe it or not, guide pretty much everything we do.
To make this super clear, let's take a real-world example. Say the government puts a new tax on cigarettes. What are they actually trying to do? Who is this policy really aimed at? The answer, as you might guess, is all about that marginal decision.
See, a tax like this isn't really for smoker A. For them, smoking is still worth the higher price. The policy is aimed squarely at smoker B, the person who is right there on the edge, at the margin. For them, that extra little bit of cost is the tipping point. It's what finally makes the cost of smoking outweigh the benefits. And that right there, that's where policy actually makes an impact.
Okay, so with that idea of marginal decisions locked in, let's talk about the beautiful, elegant theory economists dreamed up, the perfect market machine. In a perfect world, this thing is a masterpiece. It's a system where supply and demand balance each other out flawlessly.
And the secret ingredient, the magic gear in this machine, it's the price. Price is just a signal. It's what tells you to maybe stop after your second ice cream cone. Because as the source points out, that 10th cornetto is never going to taste as good as the first. And it tells the ice cream shop when to stop making so much. It's this beautiful dance, all coordinated by one simple thing, the price.
So in this perfect world, nothing goes to waste, everyone gets what they want for a fair price. It all sounds amazing. Everyone's happy, right? Well, as you can probably guess, not exactly.
And this is where the theory crashes into reality. That perfect market machine, it only works if a bunch of assumptions are true. And in the real world, those assumptions are almost never true. So when they break down, the machine doesn't just sputter, it can break down completely.
This is what economists call a market failure. It's when the free market, left to its own devices, just gets it wrong. It ends up being super inefficient and creating a net loss for society as a whole. So let's look at the main reasons this machine breaks.
First off, the theory assumes perfect competition, basically infinite buyers and sellers. But come on, when is that ever true? What we really get are monopolies, one company that can charge whatever it wants. Or the flip side, a monopsony, like the AFL draft, where there's really only one buyer for a player's talent, which can drive down their pay. Or you get an oligopoly, where just a few big players can wink and nod at each other to keep prices high for all of us.
All right, next up is a huge one, externalities. See, the perfect market assumes that when you buy something, the only people affected are you and the seller. But what about all the side effects that spill over onto other people?
You've got two kinds, really. A factory polluting a river, that's a classic negative externality. The local community has to deal with the polluted water, but that cost isn't reflected in the price of the factory's product, so the market ends up making way too much of it. But then you have positive externalities, like your education. A more educated society benefits everyone, not just you. But since you're the only one paying for it, the market actually ends up underproducing education from a societal point of view. Then you've got certain things the market is just bad at handling. Take a public good, like a lighthouse. You can't really stop ships from seeing its light, and one ship using it doesn't stop another from using it. So who's going to pay to build it? No private company would. The market just won't provide it. Then there's the famous tragedy of the commons. Think of fish in the ocean. You can't really stop anyone from fishing, but there's a limited number of fish. So what happens? Everyone fishes as much as they can, as fast as they can, and pretty soon the whole resource is depleted.
Okay, another massive assumption of the perfect market is perfect information, that everybody knows everything relevant to a transaction. I mean, seriously, this is almost never true. Usually, one person in a deal knows a heck of a lot more than the other person. That's called information asymmetry. And health insurance is the absolute best example of this. You've got two big problems. First, there's moral hazard. If you have amazing health insurance that covers everything, maybe you're a little less likely to go to the gym, right? You're insulated from the cost. Then you've got adverse selection. Who's the most motivated to buy health insurance? Well, it's the people who are already sick or know they're likely to get sick. Both of these problems just completely twist the market out of shape. And now for what might be the biggest assumption of all, that we humans are perfectly rational decision-making machines. Yeah, we are definitely not. Behavioral economics has shown over and over that we are predictably irrational. We are just awful at thinking about the future, which is why so many of us would rather have $50 right now than $100 a year from now. Our own weird brains are a source of market failure.
So, the market machine is broken. It's sputtering. It's leaking oil. It's making all kinds of terrible noises. What do? Well, you call a mechanic. And in the world of economics, that mechanic is usually the government. And the logic for calling in the government is actually pretty simple. Step 1, you identify the failure, say a polluting factory. Step 2, you apply a tool, maybe a tax on every ton of gunk it pumps into the river. And step 3, the goal is to make the factory's private costs, what it pays, match up with the true social costs. You're trying to force the market to see the bigger picture.
But here is a super fascinating twist. The government isn't the only mechanic around. Sometimes the market is clever enough to invent its own fixes. Think about a university degree. Yeah, you learn stuff, but that degree is also a powerful signal to a future employer. It signals that you're smart, hardworking, and can stick with something. It helps fix the employer's information problem all without a single government program.
And this, right here, leads us to what is probably the most important question in all of economics. Okay, we see the problem, the market failure. And we have a potential solution, government intervention. But what if? What if the cure is actually worse than the disease?
Because, let's be real, government intervention is no silver bullet. It can be slow, clunky, and wildly inefficient. It can get hijacked by lobbyists and special interests who bend the rules to help themselves. And sometimes, governments just get it wrong. They misdiagnose the problem and apply a fix that makes everything even worse. That's called government failure.
So this is what it all boils down to. This is the heart of the matter. The real debate in economics isn't some simple choice between free markets and government. It's not about finding some perfect, elegant solution that fixes everything.
It's a choice between two flawed, imperfect systems. On one side, you've got market failure, where the selfish pursuit of profit can lead to outcomes that are bad for everyone. And on the other side, you've got government failure, where the attempt to fix those problems creates a whole new mass of inefficiency and unintended consequences. It's a constant tug of war.
And that leaves us with the big question, the one there's no easy answer to. It's not about finding a perfect system, because that doesn't exist. It's about a choice. When things inevitably go wrong, which flawed mechanic do you trust to try and fix it? An imperfect market that's often blind to the bigger picture, or an imperfect government that can often be slow and clumsy? Your answer to that question pretty much defines every major political and economic debate happening in the world today.